Alright, this should be live. Okay, good morning to those in Vietnam, the Philippines, as well as other portions of Southeastern Asia, including China and Taiwan. Now, let me just share this stream and then we will get started. I did want to real quickly thank you all so much for 4.8 thousand subscribers. I was not expecting to reach that before the live stream. I really appreciate all the support I've been getting recently. So again, thank you all so much for all that support. Again, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're trying to reach 5,000 by the end of the year. Okay, that's shared there, and that is shared there, I believe. Okay. So let's see who's in the chat. Of course, Richie and Aiden there. Hello, how are you all doing? And Chester. Okay, now today we're going to be discussing two systems. Both Kalmaegi, also known as Tino in the Philippines, is exiting the Philippine area of responsibility. I believe it's already probably exited. And then we're also going to be discussing Fung Wong. Let's start off, we'll go back and forth throughout the live stream about this. And again, if you have any questions, you can always ask them in the live chat, and I will get towards them the later part of the stream. Okay, I see already one of my college members is in the chats. Hi there. Okay. Man, okay. So let's get started on it. So first we're going to be discussing Kalmaegi here. The system is currently a major typhoon, and this graphic was made around 6 to 9 hours ago. So it is already a Category 4 now, and it is expected to make landfall somewhere in the south-central coast of Vietnam. Either there or just it looks like the south-central coast. They're delivering possibly major impacts. We'll get to that in a bit. It's looking like it will weaken right before landfall, but it's looking, unfortunately, more likely that it will be making landfall as a Category 3 major typhoon. It then will quickly weaken as it moves towards Laos there, and it will become a tropical depression by hour 36, remnant low by hour 48, and dissipating by hour 60. Now let's discuss the impacts. There is a marginal category impacts in portions of southeastern Hainan Island. It does also include portions of the north-central coast of Vietnam, as well as portions of Laos, as well as Thailand and northeastern Cambodia, and it does include portions of, I believe, the central highlands of Vietnam there, and of course, the south-central coast. Now, moving it up to the slight category here, there is a wide range of slight impacts, mainly across the south-central coast and the central highlands of Vietnam, and portions of southern Laos and northeastern Cambodia. And then moving up to the moderate impacts, this is mainly going to be for wind and rain. It does include a corridor in portions of the south-central coast and the central highlands of Vietnam, with the possibility of major impacts. I'd be upgrading this now to major impacts being expected for the south-central coast. Regions of the far eastern, more central portions of the south-central coast, they're expected to see major impacts, as this will be rolling through your region as a major typhoon. Now let's switch gears and look at Fung Wong now. This system is currently a tropical storm. It is expected to become a typhoon potentially as soon as within the next 24 hours, before becoming a major typhoon, Category 3, 4, and 5. Looks like a super typhoon peak is likely by the time it enters the Philippine area of responsibility. Should be entering it as a Category 3 and then peaking out as a Category 5. We're hoping that wind shear tries to knock it down in intensity before it slams into northern Luzon around the Cagayan Valley. Either there or central Luzon, it looks to be the main, most likely areas of a landfall there. Could still be making landfall as a Category 5. I can't rule that out just yet. Again, though, we're just hoping it weakens in intensity before it slams into Luzon. It will then weaken to a Category 2 and Category 1 by the time it enters the South China Sea. Still, though, a typhoon as it enters the South China Sea. That's why areas like Taiwan and China need to be also watching the system now. Now, in terms of impacts, a large area of marginal impacts. The island of Yap is included, majority of Taiwan, parts of Guangdong and Fujian provinces of China, and Hong Kong is also now included in the marginal impacts. And of course, it does include a majority of the Philippines there, including far northern Caraga there in portions of the Philippines. Now, stepping it up to the slight category, again, there's a fair amount of places in the slight category. It does include portions of eastern Visayas, the Bicol region, as well as Mindoro, all in that slight category, and it does include eastern Taiwan as well. It does also include, I believe, the Batanes Islands are in that slight category as well. Stepping it up now to moderate impacts. Moderate impacts are expected for a majority of the island of Luzon there, including the Bicol region, Calabarzon, as well as central Luzon, the Ilocos region, the Cordillera administrative region, and the Cagayan Valley. And then stepping it up now to the major impacts. Major impacts are expected majority for Cagayan Valley and also portions of northeastern central Luzon. Those regions, including Aurora, Carino, Isabela, and Cagayan, portions there are expected to see major impacts from the system. Even farther places farther inland, including Kalinga, Mountain Province, and Ifugao. Those areas are expected to see major impacts. Again, this could be rolling through your region as a major typhoon. Super typhoon can't be ruled out. Now let's look at the broad overview of tropics. So I kind of butchered Kalmaegi here. It is currently now a Category 4. It has been rapidly intensifying now, and looks like it may be peaking over the next 6 hours or so. That system is going to be slamming into Vietnam. We just discussed that, and where Fung Wong's going as well. Fortunately, there's nothing else going on now. Finally, we've eliminated all these sections of storms. Now we're just down to 2. We're hoping that this trend will continue, but there could be areas of interest popping up in the Philippines over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So something to watch out there, and also for portions of Australia and Indonesia. Now, I do want to mention, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. Really helps out a lot and keeps you up to date. All right. So looking at the satellite imagery, we're starting off with Kalmaegi here. You can see a well-defined eye feature that has been consistently present on the latest visible imagery here. It's not completely cleared out just yet, but it is also pretty small, I would say. We can see some of these outer bands now already impacting portions of the south-central coast and central highlands of Vietnam. Even portions of the southeastern Vietnam is getting impacts from the system. Looking at infrared imagery, we can still see that eye there, struggling to pop out due to some wind shear there. But again, pretty cold cloud tops there, above minus or below minus 80 degrees Celsius. Some areas peaking out at minus 90 degrees Celsius. So again, that's pretty much why it's a Category 4 at this time. Now, swapping over to Fung Wong, the system is now likely finally a tropical cyclone. It is a pretty broad one at that. It's a pretty large circulation. Its center is located right around here in the southwestern edge of the broad circulation there, with some of those thunderstorms. And we can look at the thunderstorms on here continuing to fire burst of convection over that center. So it will be consolidating over the next 24 hours. Looking at the sea surface temperatures of Kalmaegi, they are fairly warm, around 28 to 29 degrees Celsius, but they are going to be fortunately cooling as it gets closer and closer to Vietnam. Nothing really to weaken it too much, unfortunately. And we can also look at the sea surface temperatures of Fung Wong here. Again, incredibly warm, 30 to 31 degrees Celsius all throughout its track up until the Philippines. Now, looking at the environment for these systems, let's see if this can all be displayed. Yes, okay. So the environment for Kalmaegi, shear is going to be rapidly increasing as it makes its landfall. So we're hoping that this, again, knocks it down in intensity before that landfall. Again, sea surface temperatures are also going to be dipping down, but not into the unfavorable category. In terms of dry air, not going to be a problem, unfortunately, as it makes landfall, and it moves across southeastern Asia in towards the Bay of Bengal. Looking at the environment for, let's see, oh man, Fung Wong, excuse me. So shear is expected to remain low over the next 24 to 48 hours, and it is going to be increasing quite a bit, looks like, into the moderate to almost high category by the time it starts nearing the Philippines. So again, we're hoping that starts to weaken it before it makes that landfall in the Philippines. But still, major typhoon landfall, nothing to scoff about. Sea surface temperatures, again, incredibly warm all the way up until landfall. Does dip down a bit, though, by the time it enters the South China Sea. In terms of dry air, not really a problem at all. It does start to experience some dry air in the 3 to 5 day range, but it's really going to have a solid core, so I don't expect any dry air intrusions. Now let's talk distances. How far away are these systems? Let's start off with Kalmaegi here. Kalmaegi is roughly around 220 kilometers away from the south-central coast of Vietnam. In terms of Laos and Cambodia, it's down to around 440 kilometers away. And at Thailand, it looks to be around 650 kilometers away. Hainan Island, it's far away from you, 600 kilometers away. Now, looking at Fung Wong here, the distance from certain areas, yep, it's only around 180 kilometers away. You are getting some of those outer bands. And now looking at portions of the Philippines, the Bicol region, it's down to 1,700 kilometers away. Central Luzon, it's down to around 2,000 kilometers away, and same is true for the Cagayan Valley. In terms of the Babuan Islands, they're around 2,200 kilometers away, and Taiwan's down to 2,400 kilometers away, and Hong Kong's down to 3,000 kilometers. All right, now let's look at the various model runs on the system. Starting off with the HWRF model run here, it does have its continuing to strengthen up until about 6 hours, 6 to 9 hours before making landfall there in the south central coast, still as a category 3 or 4 strength system. Quickly deteriorates by the time it moves into Laos and Cambodia. Looking at the HAFS A model run, please work. Okay. Let's see, does it have it strengthening further? Yes, it does. It does have it strengthening over the next 6 hours, actually, into a even stronger Category 4, before weakening slightly before it makes its landfall in Vietnam. There still is a Category 3 or 4. It then, again, quickly weakens as it moves through Laos and then off towards Thailand. Now let's look at the system everyone's been talking about now. Fung Wong here. What is the HAFS A model run forecasting on Fung Wong? What is forecasting a Category 5 landfall in northern Luzon there in Cagayan region in the Philippines there. It then does roll through just to the south of the Babuan Islands. It does roll through Ilocos Norte there. Still is a powerful major typhoon. It does actually exits into the South China Sea still as a typhoon strength system. As you can see, Taiwan's getting impacts from it. And let's actually zoom out a bit. So let's look at the overall impacts. Anything in green here, those are gale force winds sustained. Anything in red is damaging, storm force winds, and pink is that purplish pinkish color is typhoon force winds. So impacts in portions of the Philippines are going to be beginning within the next 3 days. So I want to go over the checklist here if you are in the northern Philippines. So you want to be checking forecasts daily. If you're already subscribed to the channel and you are looking at these forecasts daily, you can check that off, okay? If you want, you can take a screenshot of this. This should help you through the system. Again, you want to check that off. You want to restock essentials. If you haven't done that already, please do so. Get some food, water, paper towels, batteries, and medications. You want around a week's supply of that. You want to review evacuation zones. Be sure to know where you are going to go if you need to evacuate. Know who has the sturdiest structure, who's away from flood-prone areas. And remove loose debris in your yards if you haven't already. Now you are in the 3 days away category, so you want to be completing this part of the checklist now. You want to wash clothes and dishes, get those all freshened up. You want to back up important documents, stuff like insurance, titles of your home, just anything that's valuable that could be lost in the storm. And you want to also clean gutters and storm drains. Get a head start on that. Make sure anything, if there's leaves already on some of those drains and gutters, just clean that out. So make sure you're starting fresh, as the system could dump over 500 millimeters of rain in portions of the Philippines. So really start preparing that. And then by tomorrow, you'll want to be starting to charge all your devices and move your valuables to higher ground and begin securing outdoor items. You want to prepare a safe room with supplies and bedding. Alright, and if you're in portions of Taiwan and portions of China, you're going to be on this section of the checklist. Again, though, if you're in the Philippines, you're on this section. Again, take a screenshot of it if you'd like. Alright, now going forward here, looking at the impacts in Taiwan. Yeah, impacts in Taiwan looks like around 4 days from now. At least some of those gale force winds. So the model run here does have tropical storm force winds impacting portions of the Bicol region, just to the north of the Bicol region, but it does have it impacting, again, portions of central Luzon and the Cagayan Valley. This model run is a little bit on the northern end of guidance. The general consensus has it making landfall in Isabela, but the HAFS A model run has it in Cagayan. It does have an incredibly close for comfort for portions of the Babuan Islands there, areas that have already been devastated by Regasa, getting typhoon force winds from the system. Again, the storm is going to be pretty large. If we look at the size of the typhoon force winds, how far out do they extend from the center? Looks like it's around 150 kilometers away from the center, at least on the northeastern quadrant, generally around the entire system. This is going to be a fairly large system, and gale force winds will be extending much, much farther than that. If we look at the zoomed out view on here on Fung Wong, gale force winds will be extending, let's see, up to 400 kilometers away from the center, and even on the northwestern side, it would be extending up to 500 kilometers away from the center. So very large system. It will grow in size over the next 48 to 96 hours up until it makes landfall, continuing to grow in size. May undergo several eyewall replacement cycles before it makes that before it makes that landfall. So again, just growing and growing in size, unfortunately. It does look like, though, that it will be weakening when it enters the South China Sea. It doesn't look like it's going to have a secondary peak, at least on this model run. But it could be entering the South China Sea as a Category 2, so still a fairly strong typhoon. It is going to be hooking it towards Taiwan as a trough, tries to drag it to the north. So Taiwan, you should be watching the system closely, as it could be rolling through your region as a typhoon. Now let's look at the other model runs here. The European run, fairly consistent as to, the most recent model run, fairly consistent as to where it's going to be going. It has it going through Isabella, moves towards the north there, and it inches a little bit closer to Guangdong province in China and Hong Kong as a potentially major typhoon there. It does have it weakening, though, gradually, fortunately. And the latest American run here does have it slamming into around the border of Isabella and Cagayan there before entering the South China Sea and rolling through Taiwan as a typhoon. It does have another disturbance rolling through the Philippines there as a little bit of a weak low pressure area. Nothing to be concerned about just yet. Right. Now looking at the Canadian run, it does have the system rolling through around Isabella there, or even northern Aurora, before entering the South China Sea. It weakens significantly before it meanders into Taiwan. I did want to mention, though, that the remnants of Kalmaegi do enter the Bay of Bengal there, potentially reforming, at least on the Canadian run, around Myanmar, and then moves westwards. Something to keep an eye out on. Alright, in the German run, it's just coming out, so I don't expect it to fully be out. Man, okay, a super typhoon making landfall somewhere looks to be around Isabella or Cagayan before entering the South China Sea near the Babuan Islands or the Batanes Islands, still as a typhoon. Looking at the European ensembles, let's focus in on this here. So yeah, looks like it's going to be making landfall somewhere in either Cagayan, Isabella, or Aurora provinces in the Philippines, potentially as a Category 3 to 5 strength system. So again, super typhoon is possible. Take this seriously. But even portions of the Bicol region could get a strike from it. Some of the ensemble members have it striking as far south there, and some of them have it striking as far north as the Babuan Islands or the Batanes Islands. Right, and looking at the American ensembles, again, it's pretty set that it's going to the Philippines now. It's not like it's going to miss the Philippines, unfortunately. Alright, and we can look at the latest European AI model trends. What have they been showing now? If we go to this point in time, right around here, let's see, how has it been doing? Looks like it's trended more to the southwest on these more recent runs, and Kalmaegi has been trending a little bit more to the northwest in terms of that ridge north of Taiwan, trending a little bit to the west. And if we go forward in time, now let's go 48 hours in time. How has it been trending more recently? The ridge over China has strengthened, looks like, is what the forecast shows. Here are the earlier runs, not as strong, and then here are the more recent runs, getting a little bit of a stronger ridge there, pushing it more to the south. Then if we go forward in time, around the time of landfall here, let's see what's changed. See, nothing too much. The ridge looks like it weakens a little bit north of Taiwan there, but still has it slamming in the Philippines around Isabella or Aurora provinces there. And then by the time it enters or nears Taiwan, let's see if that trough tries to drag it out. Looking over Kazakhstan there and portions of southern Russia there, then drags it off towards the north. Looks like actually a trough over central China also pulls it to the northeast off towards Japan after it slams into Taiwan. Japan, nothing really to worry about just yet. Now let's talk rainfall totals. How much rain could you be seeing from this system according to various model runs? Let's start off by looking at the European run. In portions of Vietnam, the south central coast regions could see up to around 200 to 300 millimeters of rain, and also that does include portions of the central highlands of Vietnam. Portions of northeastern Cambodia could see up to 150 millimeters of rain, and the same is true for southern Laos and southeastern Thailand. Let's just discuss Kalmaegi first, and then we'll move over to Fung Wong. Looking at the American run, generally higher totals farther inland, but totals of around 200 to 250 millimeters of rain for the south central coast and central highlands of the Vietnam. Northern Cambodia could see up to around 170 millimeters of rain, and the same is going to be true for southern Laos and mainly a large portion of Thailand there. The GFS model has it, or the American model has it moving through Thailand as a much more bona fide tropical cyclone. Now stepping up to the German run here does show higher totals along the coast of Vietnam. Wherever it makes landfall, up to around 300 millimeters of rain will be possible. Pockets of up to 400 millimeters of rain just off the coast. Lower totals, though, for portions of Thailand and Cambodia. Now let's switch gears over to Fung Wong here, starting off with the European run over the next 7 days, the next week from now. So portions of, or the island of Yap is expected to see an additional 100 to 20 millimeters, 120 millimeters of rain. Looks like Mindoro could see some decent rainfall totals, up to 200 to 300 millimeters of rain. Let's see, portions of Isabela up to 400 millimeters of rain, and let's see, moving west over to Benguet. Some regions in Benguet see up to 600 millimeters of rain, so really major flooding will be possible with the system, and these major categories will likely be extended further inland. Let me zoom out again, go back to the normal zoom. So again, flooding will be a concern for portions of western Luzon, northwestern Luzon. Looking at portions of Taiwan there, that upslope terrain, rainfall totals of up to 400 millimeters of rain. They have been highlighted again in that slight category, and that will likely go up as the 5-day range creeps up and closer to Taiwan. Just offshore, though, out into the South China Sea, rainfall totals of up to 700 millimeters of rain are possible. Now let's move over to the American run. What is it forecasting? Let's see. Island of Yap gets around 200 millimeters of rain as a maximum. Portions of the Philippines, looks like western Luzon, more the mountainous terrains of the Philippines there, gets those higher totals of up to 400 millimeters of rain. Looking at eastern Taiwan, rainfall totals of up to 200 to 300 millimeters of rain are forecasted along the eastern coast. And the Babuan Islands, generally around 100 to 200 millimeters of rain, and same is true for the Batanes Islands. Looking at Metro Manila, only around 50 to 60 millimeters of rain forecasted for you there. Right now, stepping it up to the German run here, I believe this is the most bullish in the rainfall totals. Let's start off by looking at the island of Yap, totals of up around 90 millimeters of rain. Now, looking at portions of the landfall location in Isabela, around 500 millimeters of rain. Cagayan sees only around 400 millimeters of rain. Looking west there, Apayao, up to 600 millimeters of rain, and portions of Abra could see up to 800 to 900 millimeters of rain. For those Americans or those who use inches, that's up to 32 inches of rain being forecasted for that region. So catastrophic flooding could be a result from this system. Looking at the Babuan Islands, up to 300 millimeters of rain, and the same is true for the Batanes Islands. Now, portions of southeastern Taiwan, up to 600 millimeters of rain. So again, major flooding will be possible for portions of Taiwan over the next week. Over the next 5 days, though, slight impacts are expected. So that's rainfall. Now let's talk wind. Let's see if any of these model runs do a good job of wind accumulations, the strongest wind gust. See, okay, the German run does good, the American run, let's see, on the much lower, and the European run much on the lower side. So let's discuss the German run here, and I believe the German run has a little bit more to the north compared to other models in the guidance sets. So in terms of wind gusts, Metro Manila only expected to get around 70 kilometer an hour wind gust. Moving north towards Aurora, anywhere from around 100 to up to 200 kilometer an hour wind gust. And looking at portions of Isabela, wind gusts of up to 270 kilometer an hour winds are going to be possible. And just offshore, wind gusts of up to 300 kilometer an hour are possible. Looking at Cagayan, anywhere from around 150 to 240 kilometer an hour winds. Looking west there at Apayao, around 100 or 170 to 180 kilometer an hour winds. Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur. Ilocos Sur, the southern portions there. Let's see, am I looking at the right place? Yeah, right around here. Generally, both areas around 140 to 160 kilometer an hour wind gusts are going to be possible. And portions of Benguet are being forecasted to see, let's see here, around 150 to 160 kilometer an hour winds. Looking at portions of Taiwan, it's a little bit far out to be talking about that, so I'm not going to discuss that just yet. Now, okay, Mongolia, thank you for the correction, Richie. Now, let's discuss the Google AI Ensemble members. Let's see what they're showing now. I think this is a little bit more bullish than the last run. Yeah, okay. That's becoming increasingly concerning. Okay, what's the consensus looking like now? Does still have, oh boy, 145 knots on that point. What's this showing? 145, oh boy, okay. I'm going to pull up some code real quick just to check out what are the probabilities looking like right now in terms of the peak. I will let you all know what that says. Let me just run it right now. I was running this earlier, around a couple hours ago, so I'm going to look at what it's looking like now. Okay. in theory, this should be running. Yes, downloading. Okay. So in terms of peak probabilities, let's discuss that right now. 96% chance that this becomes a Category 5. And in terms of, let's see, what is the lowest intensity? Around 130 miles. So around 100% of them, around, I'd say 99% of them have it becoming a super typhoon at its peak. Unfortunately, the lowest in intensity looks to be around 145 mile an hour Category 4. The low end 25% is 175 mile an hour Category 5. The average looks to be around 185 miles an hour is the average peak. Oh man. And the upper 25% is 195 miles an hour, and looks like the maximum intensity is 205 miles an hour, is what's being forecasted on the Google AI Ensemble members. Now let's talk pressure. What is the pressure looking like for the system? Oh man, this is not looking good. We're hoping that this downtrends in newer runs, but okay, so all right. So in terms of peaking out at a pressure below 940 millibars, all members show that. Peaking below 920 millibars, 90% chance it does that. 42% chance that it reaches a pressure below 900 millibars. 14% chance that it reaches a pressure below 890 millibars. Now let's discuss the averages. All right, let me scroll up a little bit here. Oops. Okay, the maximum pressure is 929 millibars as a peak pressure. The bottom 25%, or the top 25%, around 908 millibars. The average is 901.8 millibars. So that has downtrended a little bit in the pressure, but it has uptrended in winds. In terms of the lowest 25% is 894 millibars, and the lowest pressure is 886.3 millibars on the Google AI Ensemble members. Now let's discuss landfall probabilities. Where is it looking like the system could be delivering a direct blow towards? It has shifted a little bit to the south, I will admit that. Portions of the Bicol region are now being included in this. The Catawandas are Catanduanas. Okay, trying to get that correct. Camarines Sur. Let's just, oh man, okay, so looking like it's shifted to the south a bit, so portions of the Bicol region are now included in a probability of a landfall. Let's see, so in terms of Camarines Sur, it's around a 2% chance it makes landfall there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, around a 12% chance it makes landfall in the Catawandas. Looking over here at Camarines Norte, it's around a 2% chance. Remember, these are not going to add up to 100% because some of these could make multiple landfalls. In terms of Quezon here, let's see. Does that also include Quezon? Yes, that is. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Looks like around 3 there. Okay. So around a 6% chance it makes landfall in Quezon. Looking more north at Aurora, there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that a 6 one? No, 5, 6, 7. Oh boy. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Man, and even the consensus is showing that the ensemble mean 21, 22, 23, 24, 20. Okay, I'd say, oh man, okay, that'd be around a 60% chance or so. Looks like that it's going to be making landfall somewhere in Aurora. So that's the most likely province of a landfall. Now, looking more north at Isabela, that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, this still is included. 14. And is that region included? I don't think so. So around 14, so that would be around a 28% chance it makes landfall in Isabela, according to the Google AI Ensemble members. And it looks like a 1, 2, 3, around a 6% chance it does make landfall in Cagayan. So looking more likely that it's going to be making landfall somewhere around Aurora or Isabela provinces in the Philippines. The consensus there does have it rolling through, let's see, the ensemble mean at least does have it rolling through as a Category 4, and this is skewed a little bit downwards just because some of the ensemble members are already on land. So what's the intensity looking like on here? Low end Cat 4, so it looks like mid-range Category 4 would be forecasted as a landfall intensity, unfortunately. Man, okay. Not looking good. And the ensemble mean does have it hooking towards Taiwan there. does fortunately have it weakening to a tropical storm by the time it makes landfall in Taiwan, but the amount of rainfall that's going to be pummeling or slamming into eastern Taiwan due to that counterclockwise motion there, upslope on the mountains there, topographic lift, really going to be really concerning for portions of the eastern Taiwan. All right, now let's answer some questions on the system. Let's go through. So let's see. Kalmaegi unfortunately already killed 127 people in the Philippines now. Yes, unfortunately, the system has caused devastating flooding, and I'm glad I did highlight the area for the possibility of major impacts because, well, they did see major impacts with the system in the form of flooding. Um, I really should have gone more bullish with my forecast, though. I should have increased it even higher than that. I wasn't quite sure as to how bad would the rainfall threat be, but we were talking about that quote unquote death band it had, what we like to call a death band, unfortunately, right as it was slamming into the Philippines. So, man, I'm curious who actually mentioned that in my Discord server. Someone actually pointed that out first, and I'm curious who mentioned the death band. See, I don't know who. Oh man, yeah, there was a lot of discussion on November 1st in the Discord. And I do remind you all, if you aren't already and you're interested in tropical cyclones, you can join the Discord server, discord.gg/chasestorm. That's where we discuss these tropical cyclones more in depth in terms of the processes behind them, how strong we think things are going to get, that kind of stuff. Just generally tracking tropical cyclones across the globe. Anyways, yes, unfortunately, a lot of fatalities. Yes, the Bicol region will be affected by tropical or by Fung Wong by the time it reaches the Philippines. Looks like up to moderate impacts are being forecasted, but major or catastrophic impacts can't be ruled out if this goes on the southern end of the forecast cone and it rolls through as a super typhoon. That can't be ruled out. But right now, I'd be forecasting moderate impacts. That could go up or down. Just stay tuned for updates over the coming days. Kalmaegi could be a possible Category 4 before making landfall in Vietnam. Okay, I see a person on their accounts now. WX Mel Garcia, how are you doing? Okay, Kalmaegi is a Category 3 according to Hong Kong's analysis. Interesting. I think it's a Category 4 right now. Yes, Fung Wong could become a Category 5 and remain a Category 5 up until its landfall in Luzon. That is a possibility. We're hoping that shear weakens it, but according to the half-say model run, shear is going to be moving at or the system is going to be moving at the same direction as the shear, so it kind of counteracts the two. If we look at right at landfall here, let's see. Here's a look at shear. Okay, a little bit worse before it makes landfall. Shear is 12 knots to the northwest, and it's moving at 16 knots, so the shear is around 4 knots. That's still quite low, but you add on a little bit because the directions are a little bit different here. You see, this one's moving more to the northwest, and this one's moving more to the west. So again, a little bit more shear than that, but still it's quite low. So these model runs are showing it potentially rolling through Luzon as a Category 5 super typhoon. Are you going to be upgrading it to extreme/catastrophic impacts? I probably will, especially for rainfall totals, looking like that could be a concern, especially for portions of the mountain regions of the Luzon, mainly around the Ilocos region and the Cordillera administrative region. Guys, I am reading the chat, so I am a little bit behind, so I will be catching up. Let's see. Fung Wong got to be making landfall as a Category 3 or 5 before landfall in central. Or yeah, it looks like it will be peaking out as a major typhoon at least. Can Fung Wong be a super typhoon while outside the Philippine area of responsibility? I don't think so. Let's look at the HAFS-A model run on its thoughts before entering the Philippine area of responsibility. Let's see, it does have it entering the Philippine area of responsibility as a Category 2 typhoon. On my forecast here, I do have it as a Category 3 typhoon. This may be a little bit aggressive, but generally the Google AI Ensemble members do have it as a Category 3 or 4. Um, Yes, I know all the controversial flood control projects happening in the Philippines. I thank you all so much for informing me about that. I didn't realize how much politics happened with weather there in the Philippines. How much rainfall in Cagayan? Good question. Let's pull that up here on the various model runs. All right, so Cagayan looks like, if you're asking about Cagayan region specifically, rainfall totals on the German run, lowest is around a 250, highest looks to be around 250 to 400 millimeters of rain. European run, lowest end is around 130, high end is around 350, and then the American run here. Low end is going to be 120, high end is around 300. Let's say 120 to 350 millimeters of rain is possible depending on where you are in Cagayan. What impacts will Hong Kong get from Fung Wong? Currently, it looks like it's going to be wind, gustier winds, as we've seen on the zoomed out view on the half-say model run. Tropical storm force winds could be happening in portions of Guangdong province in China. And the uncertainty, though, they could be seeing some of those impacts. And if we look at the gust or the upper higher winds there, I believe it's going to be this right here. Again, some of those outer bands could be delivering some tropical storm force winds or tropical storm force gust to portions of Hong Kong there. This green coloring is tropical storm force. That's or gale force, and that red is storm force, and that purple is going to be typhoon force. This is gust being displayed right here. Mainly some of those higher winds, but I like to consider this kind of gust. But then looking at the lower levels here, these are the sustained winds. All right. How much rainfall in the Babuan Islands? Looking at the Babuan Islands, let's see. It looks like generally around 100 millimeters on the American run, up to 300 millimeters of rain is going to be possible on the German run, and the European model run, lower totals of around 100 millimeters though. So 100 to 300 millimeters of rain will be possible for the Babuan Islands. Let's see. Sent. Okay, there we go. Okay, I am catching up to the live chat. There we go. Santa Ana Cagayan, please. Yeah, if you have any questions about your local region, you can always ask that in the chat here. I'll add the let's see. Oh boy, where do I? Is this it? Yes. Okay. Sorry, I need to change the we. Oh no, hold on. I'm trying to get this working. There we go. All right, Santa Ana and Cagayan. In terms of impacts you could be getting from the system, I'm going to be using the German run here. Impacts will likely be beginning as early as Sunday. Oh boy, hold on. Is this the correct time zone? Yes, it is. Okay, so the Philippines Standard Time looks like Sunday morning is when impacts could be beginning in Santa Ana, and really peaks out on Sunday night into Monday morning. Still really severe throughout the day on Monday. It doesn't calm down until after Tuesday. So this is going to be a multi-day threat for you there. Looks like the worst impacts will be happening on Monday morning. But really get your preparations completed before Sunday morning. So get them completed by Saturday night. All right, hi, Mammerds. Track had it slightly south again. Let's look at the latest Pagasa forecast on the system. So the latest Pagasa forecast is now out. Yes. Right. Yes, so I'll pull up their latest forecast for you all in terms of what are they forecasting the system to do. So, it is expected to become a severe tropical storm by tonight, becoming a typhoon by tomorrow morning. And then still a typhoon throughout the day on Friday and then into Saturday. Expected to become a super typhoon by Saturday evening or Saturday night. Still a super typhoon on Sunday morning. And then on Monday morning, it will be over the Philippines there around the Ilocos region. And then starting to exit the Philippine area of responsibility on Tuesday morning. By Tuesday afternoon, it looks like it will be exiting the Philippine area of responsibility. In terms of the forecast cone, the center of it has it slamming into Aurora there. But the forecast cone, again, though, it does extend all the way from as portions of the Babwan Islands, all the way south to the Bicol region and portions of eastern Visayas. And very broad storm there. Areas of at least strong winds extend for such a large area. Hopefully this will consolidate more and shrink the wind field, but currently this thing is massive, as we've seen on some of this satellite imagery. Let's look at a more zoomed out view on it. Alright, please work. Okay, yeah, this does work. Look at how large the system is, extending all the way. The outflow is extending all the way to the northern Mariana Islands and portions of Palau. So, really, just such a large system. This could work against it. It takes much longer to consolidate such a large system. So hopefully that kind of prevents it from intensifying too quickly, but. We'll know a lot more over the next 24 hours what its structure is going to look like, what its peak could potentially be. Yes, another Ompong. Okay, I don't remember Ompong. Was Ompong? Oh no, Typhoon Ompong. Was that Regasa? No, main cuts. Okay, whoops, yeah, main cuts. So yeah, looks pretty similar to main cut in terms of the impacts that will be happening in portions of the northern Philippines. Let's see. Okay, that was the forecasted track. All right. Similar to main cuts in terms of the potential intensity that it could be slamming into Luzon as. Looks like it's more to the south though, compared to where main cut made landfall. Again, though, it could be shifting more to the north, more to the south. We'll know more over the coming days. Yeah, oh no, you've been consistently mentioning the fact that it could be shifting more south, similar to Goni. Again, we're not entirely sure where it's going to be making its landfall. Looks like it's most likely going to be making landfall somewhere in northern or central Luzon, but it could be making landfall in the Bicol region. We're not so sure just yet. Metro Manila is in that forecast cone. I do want to mention that. Could be rolling through your region as a major typhoon. How much rainfall in Santiago in Isabela? Let's see, Mammerds is from there. Well, let's discuss those impacts. Where is there? It is Santiago. Alright, in terms of impacts, looks like it will be beginning on Sunday morning, so I'd get your preparations completed by Saturday night. Looks like it peaks out throughout the day on Monday, really consistently seeing over 100 km/h wind gusts throughout the day on Monday, before it finally calms down by Tuesday nights. So again, Sunday morning through Tuesday night are going to be the worst days of impacts. Looks like Monday is going to be the peak. Heaviest rainfall also happening on Monday morning. Now let's discuss rainfall totals for Santiago. The German run showing 120 millimeters of rain, American showing 300, and the European runs showing around 250. So anywhere from 120 to 150 to 300 millimeters of rain could fall for Santiago. Major impacts are currently forecasted for you in Santiago, and that could be upped. Update on death toll for Kalmaegi. It's unfortunately now up to 140. Wow. That's deadlier than Melissa, I believe. Thanks for the good reading for us. Subscribe. Yeah, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're trying to hit 5,000 by the end of the year. We are now down to 190 away. Thank you all so much for the support. We've already gained 10 subscribers this live stream. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It helps keep you up to date on storms impacting your region across the world. Okay, yeah, just called it CAR for short. Alright, I'll do my best there. Yeah, I'll call it there. Alright, how about Nueva? Oh no, I have not. Oh no, that's the one that's like one of the only places I have not practiced the pronunciation of. I want to ask you all this in the live chat. How do I pronounce Nueva Ecija Esi aha? Esi aha? Oh no, Eka aha? Please tell me the how to pronounce that. Nueva? Eki? Man, I'm not sure. Esi? Oh, Esi ha, Esiha. Esiha. That's not bad. Isiha? Isiha? Nueva Ecija. Am I doing that right? Nueva Ecija? Nue? Hold on. Nue. Oh, wait. Do I not pronounce the V? Nue? Nueha? Oh, wait. Sorry. No, I do say it. Nueva E. C. Or Nue. Nue. Nueva Ecija. Nueva Ecija. Okay. That's actually a lot easier to pronounce than I thought it was going to be. But the fact that it has a J threw me off completely. The CI, everything like that. Nueva Ecija. Nueva Ecija. All right, Nueva Ecija. Okay, so sorry about that. Impacts for your region. Okay, you will be affected by the system, so apologies for that. You are expected to see either moderate to major impacts, depending on where you're located. The more north you are, the more likely you're going to be seeing major impacts. Um, Michael asks, is it going to affect me? I don't know where you're located at, but if you're in the Philippines, you're most likely going to be affected by the system. Yes, this typhoon could become a monster. You're right on that. Let's see, how much rainfall in Ilocos Norte? Ilocos Norte seems to get around 200 to 300, even 350 millimeters of rain on the American run. The European run's showing up to around 300 millimeters of rain. And the German run, some areas up to 400 to 500 millimeters of rain are going to be possible. So really major flooding could be possible across Ilocos Norte. Nueva Vizcaya. Nueva Vizcaya? Is that Vizcaya? Vizcaya? I think it's Vizcaya. In terms of rainfall for you there, let's see. This would be, let me zoom out a little bit so I can get the correct province. It's this one right here. Rainfall, Europe, or this is the German run, anywhere from 50 to 300 millimeters of rain. The German run, anywhere from around 200 to up to 500 millimeters of rain. And the European run, anywhere from 200 to 500 millimeters of rain. So really anywhere from, I'd say, 100 to 500 millimeters of rain could fall for you there. HCM City. Let's see, I don't know where that is. Sorry about that, just staying hydrated. Okay, Ho Chi Minh City. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Impacts, no impacts are expected for you there, fortunately. You're going to be good. German run on rain is some scary. Yeah, 600 millimeters of rain possible in some areas. Yeah, looking at the German run, very scary rainfall totals. Some of these areas, up to 600 millimeters of rain, up to 6 to 700 millimeters of rain is going to be possible for portions of Benguet. And let's see, was there a scary amount of run than that? No, I guess the German run was being the highest on it. Yeah, okay. Highest rainfall totals. Is Tarlac going to be affected? Tarlac City? Yes, Tarlac City is expected to see impacts from the system. Let's discuss it, though. Nothing too bad on the German run. If it goes on the current trajectory, more on the northern portions of Luzon and the Cagayan Valley, not seeing too bad of impacts. Monday would be the worst day of impacts. Now, currently, the forecasted impacts for you, it looks to be, let me just figure out where that is. It looks to be moderate impacts are currently forecasted for you. It could be delivering typhoon force winds for your location, though. Rainfall may not be the biggest concern. It may be the winds. You may be seeing a signal 4 warnings be issued. Again, some areas could be seeing signal 5 warnings if it does roll through as a super typhoon. We're just not quite sure as to what it's going to be looking like over the next 48 hours. Yes, Richie, I see that on the map. Thank you. Let's see here. How much rainfall in Manila? In terms of impacts in Metro Manila, see, I don't know if it displays on here. I think I'm going to have to do, let's see. I'm going to do Quezon City, so similar thing, Metro Manila, same areas. Looks like the worst day of impacts is going to be on Monday for you there. Get your preparations completed by Sunday. In terms of rainfall totals, though, not a whole lot is being forecasted. German runs only 30 millimeters, Americans 70, and the European runs up to 90. So 30 to 90 millimeters of rain are being forecasted for you, but that could be much higher if it trends more to the south. Current impacts for you there are expected to be slight impacts. Zambales, okay, I need to find out where that is. Okay, there we go. Along Apau. Along Apau. Along Apau. Oh, I see it right there. Impacts for you. You will be seeing impacts, and we can look at that on here. You are expected to see, looks like, slight impacts. Yeah, slight impacts are expected for you there. The system, in terms of impacts, looks like the worst day will be on Monday and Tuesday. I get your preparations completed by Sunday nights at the latest. In terms of total rainfall that you could be seeing from the system, Germans only showing 40 millimeters, Americans showing up to 80, and the European runs showing up to 200. So anywhere from 50 to 200 millimeters of rain will be possible for you there. Maybe some higher amounts in more localized areas. Will Baguio City be affected by it? Okay, now I need to figure out where that is. Oh, oh boy. Okay, yeah, unfortunately, yes. In terms of impacts, you are expected to get moderate impacts at least from the system. Oh man, wind gusts could be as high as 140 to 150 kilometers an hour, according to the German run. Impacts will be worst throughout Monday and Tuesday. Does not calm down until at least after Tuesday nights. Get your preparations completed by Sunday nights, before the sun sets. In terms of rainfall totals, German run shows up to 400 millimeters of rain. American shows up to 500 millimeters of rain, and the Europeans up to 600 millimeters. So 400 to 600 millimeters of rain is going to be possible for you. That's tremendous amounts of rainfall. Yeah, let's discuss more of the Pegasa forecast on it. So again, expected to roll through as a potential super typhoon. See, in terms of it still strengthens. Okay, so on their forecast, it is still strengthening from this point to this point. I'm sorry, that's a butchered arrow attempt. It does still strengthen, and this is currently the forecasted peak. Could strengthen out even further. Now, there aren't any signal warnings in effect just yet. So here, I'm going to pull up more of their post. So signal 1 warnings are still in effect for portions of the far western Philippines. It's about to expire, though. Let's look if there's any rainfall forecast. Any other forecast for the system? Doesn't seem like it. There isn't any rainfall forecast I'm seeing or anything like that. So this is the only forecast graphic we're getting from Pegasa just yet. Let's see. How about the wind and rainfall in Pangasinan? Let's discuss those impacts. Pangasinan, I know where that is. That is going to be this region over here. So impacts, let's see. Currently looks like they're going to be seeing moderate impacts throughout a majority there. Maybe the far eastern portions could see major impacts. And again, all this could be upgraded in the future. Rainfall totals from the European runs. Lowest is around 140, 150. Highest is around 400. So 150 to 400 millimeters. American run showing lowest as being 200, highest is around 500 millimeters of rain, so now around 150 to 500. And the German run, though, is showing, let's see, lower totals there. Lowest is around 50, 40 millimeters of rain in some spots. So 40 to 500 millimeters of rain could be possible for you across Pangasinan. Winds could be typhoon force. You could be seeing signal 4 or 5 warnings from the system. Yes, it would be really bad if the system does move over Metro Manila due to the, very rural area, urban area, with the flooding. See, despite its big wind field, I think the entirety of Luzon it could be in signal warnings. Maybe even Manila could be signal 2 or 3. I think you're on the money on that one. Let's look at the forecast here. If it goes on the northern end, it looks less likely for that. But yeah, signal 2 to 3 warnings are going to be possible for a majority of the Philippine or of Luzon. This green circle here does show tropical storm or gale force winds. So over a large area, and if we move this even a little bit more to the south there, you can see it does move over portions of Metro Manila at the current forecasted landfall sites from Pagasa. So yeah, looks like they could be seeing some signal warnings from the system. Metro Manila will be seeing impacts. How much rainfall in Ilocos Sur? You're from Kendon. Let's see. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, apologies for that. So I'm just drinking some water. Kendon. Okay, impacts for you. You are expected to see moderate impacts from the system. Maybe major impacts. I'm going to be starting to highlight those regions for the possibility of major impacts, probably in the next updates during tomorrow's stream. In terms of impacts, it could begin to get quite gusty on Sunday morning, so get your preparations completed, I'd say by Saturday night at the latest, or as in like what I'd recommend. The latest you could possibly do, though, would be Sunday nights, but that's going to have some outer bands potentially impacting you. The worst days are going to be Monday and Tuesday. Looks like the German run has the eye passing over you, so the main core of the system, unfortunately. Again, it could shift north or south. But in terms of rainfall totals, let's look at Camden here. Rainfall totals from the German run is 500 up to 500. American runs up to 400, and the German or the Europeans up to 300. So 300 to 500 millimeters of rain could fall for you in Camden over the next week. Oh no, wait. I misspelt the word receive. Wait, how did I misspell? Wait, where did I where did I misspell it? Oh no. Where did I Oh no. Where did I make that mistake? A TH. Man, huh. Guys, where did I say receive again? I'm sorry, I don't remember. Where did I? On the top bar. Oh boy, that's where it. Okay, thank you so much for. Oh man, oh no, that's been misspelled this whole time. Thank you so much for letting me know. Thank you. Okay, let me just fact check that just to make sure I did butcher that. Yeah, I did. Thank you so much for pointing that out, man. Okay, thank you. Sorry if that's been bothering you all. Thank you so much, TH, for letting me know. Is Tino a signal 1 warning in Western Philippines? Yes, they are under a signal 1 warning. I believe one of these islands over here in the far western Philippines are going to be under a signal 1 warning right now. Let's see, how much rainfall in Aurora? Let's see, rainfall in Aurora is expected. Oh man, okay, well, it's going to be very dependent on where the core moves, because the core is going to have the heaviest rainfall. European run has anywhere from 100 or around 90 as a minimum to 300 millimeters as a maximum. American run has, let's see, around 70 as a minimum and up to 400 as a maximum. So 70 to 400 in the German run has only around 50 as the minimum and up to 400 as a maximum. So 50 to 400 millimeters of rain could be possible across the entirety of Aurora. Union. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to remember how to pronounce that. Okay. How much rainfall in La Union? Union. Union. I believe. La Union. Union. Sorry, La Union. Union. I believe. I'm learning, okay? Let's see. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if the person is watching right now, the person who's um the person who helps me learn more of the pronunciations. But yeah, okay. Hopefully I'm not hopefully I'm not embarrassing myself there. I'm embarrassing them on my pronunciations. But in terms of rainfall for La Union, no, no, not Loon, La Union, I believe. Okay, anyways. In terms of rainfall there, looks like German run showing up to 500 millimeters of rain. American run is showing also up to 500, even up to 600 millimeters of rain could be possible in some isolated areas. European run, again up to 500 millimeters of rain, so really major to catastrophic rainfall rates could be possible there. Oh dang, okay, yes. Oh man, alright. Okay, looks like people are okay, yeah, they're still being watched. Guys, say hi to my peeps at my college. Some of them are watching the live chat or watching the live stream. All right, what time will Fung Wong make a landfall? That's a good question. In terms of landfall timing, according to Pegasus forecast, they do have it rolling through early on Monday, looks like. But if we look at the Google AI Ensemble members here, again, it's all dependent on where it makes that landfall. Could it be making landfall in the, oh no, the Catawandas, Catan, oh yeah, okay, Catanduanas, Catawanda, Catanduanas. Okay, if it makes landfall down there on the southern end, that will be making landfall much earlier. If it makes landfall on the northern end, that will be much later. Looks like, okay, in terms of landfall timing, looks like the earliest landfall timing will be around, looks like this would be Monday morning. Let me just make sure I didn't butcher that. Is that correct? No, sorry, Sunday morning. Sunday morning will be the earliest landfall timing. Latest landfall timing here looks to be on Monday night. So sometime between Sunday morning and Monday night looks to be the landfall timing. So again, it looks like overnights on the general consensus has it making landfall though on Sunday nights. So that's when I'd say the most likely time of landfall will be. I will be doing a live stream then to discuss the system or in its landfall. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Again, we're trying to reach 5,000 by the end of the year. We might reach that by the end of this storm, which is crazy. Man, okay, yeah. 4,814. We were 6 away from 4.82 thousand subscribers. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And also be sure to follow me on one of these other social media platforms. If you haven't already, to just stay up to date on more of these forecast cones. Again, I released these forecast cones much earlier. Like this one was released up to or almost 9 hours ago is when I released this forecast cone. So again, if you want to stay up to date the quickest, you can follow me on one of these social media platforms. If you have X or Twitter, you can follow me at @hurricane_chase. If you have YouTube or Instagram, you can follow me at there at @hurricane_chaser_chase. Especially if you have Instagram, please follow me there. If you use Facebook or Blue Sky the most, if that's your preferred social media platform, you can follow me on Cyclone Tracking. I do post the same things there. And if you use Discord, you can join the Discord at discord.gg/chasestorm. We discuss tropical cyclones, severe storms, snow, all that kind of stuff. All right. La Union. Union. I don't know if that's right. Okay. Oh no, sorry about that. I didn't mean to. I have a feeling this Goni track will materialize if it's going to move more to the south. Oh yeah, let's look at the trends. How the hell has that been doing? A polar weather. Okay. Oh, sorry, wrong storm. I saw Category 4 and instantly my brain just clicked on it. Okay, Fung Wong. It's not a Category 4 just yet. Again, the sea surface temperatures are going to be very warm, unfortunately, up until its landfall there. Oh, whoa, okay. Joint Typhoon Warning Center is forecasting it to re-intensify when it enters the South China Sea, going from a minimal Category 1 to a high-end Category 1. Okay, that's interesting to see. In terms of trends, is this recent? Yes. Okay, it has shifted more to the south, looks like, in terms of all runs. The run before that though has stayed consistent, so it's been locked in on its making landfall on this one on around Isabella. Now let's look at the Google AI Ensemble members in terms of how they have been trending. Well, let's look at the various model runs and how they've been trending and behaving. All right, let's start off by looking at the official forecast for the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. What has it been shown? Can I not? Oh no. Oh man, this is gonna suck. Okay, can I not do this? Okay, I'll do it. All right. So in terms of yes, I can do it like this. So Joint Typhoon Warning Center, therefore, man, it's been all over the place where it's been tracking. Not really a trend because it's a broad area of circulation, but it's been more to the southwest in the near term, and it generally on the northern end compared to the previous forecast cones. They do have it again making landfall in around Isabela or Aurora provinces in the Philippines. In terms of their intensity trend, been staying fairly consistent, but again shifting a little bit later and later into when is the let's see, yeah, when is the forecasted peak going to be, and how or when does it undergo that rapid intensification has been pushed back. Let's look at the American ensembles and what they have been showing. They have been trending more and more to the south, and let's see if we go back to the latest 5 runs. The most recent runs, though, have been staying pretty locked in on it, making landfall in Aurora. Looking at the European ensembles, okay, the most recent ones have shifted more and more to the south, but it's gone from missing the Philippines to making landfall in around Cagayan or Isabela, somewhere in the Cagayan Valley. Let's see. Oh man, the most recent run though has actually shifted even further to the south, so it's starting to correct in with the other ensemble or other models. Looks like it's making landfall in Isabela. Okay. This, all right. So the Canadian ensembles wait, was that what I showed? Okay. European ensembles and then the Canadian ensembles also have been shifting more to the south. The last 2 runs though have been consistent with it slamming into the Philippines there and around Cagayan or Isabela. Looking at the UK, okay, I don't trust that at all. Okay, let's go to the German ensembles, more in the northern end. This is similar to the halves model runs. Let's look at the AI models here, mainly the European AI models. Generally staying consistent though on it, making landfall somewhere in around Isabela or Aurora. So it hasn't really trended in any direction too much. The Eagle ensemble members from No, I believe that's gone up more north, so I'm not quite sure about how trustworthy that is. In terms of the American ensemble or American deterministic model runs, it stayed pretty consistent on it, making landfall in around Isabela. European has trended more to the south. Oh, and intensity for the American run still being consistent on how strong it's going to be. Looks like a little bit less than what it was a few days ago. Now, okay, we do have the hurricane models. HWRF model run has trended more to the south, but on these most recent runs, it has trended a little bit in the center of the guidance, so it hasn't shifted too much. HAFSA has trended more to the north in the most recent runs. Overall, it's on the more northern end of guidance, I'd say. And looking at the Google DeepMind models here, it has trended more to the south, and it looks like this run is the most bullish run they've had, at least on the ensemble mean. There you can see this black line. It's pretty much the most bullish run we've seen so far with the system. And the GenCast here, this isn't going to be as great with intensity, but track has it making landfall in around Isabela. Interesting to see the DeepMind model, though, more to the south of guidance, around Aurora, though. Pretty set on that. And then the AIFS, wait, didn't we just do that? Oh, okay, this is the actual main model for the AIFS. The European AI model has trended gradually more to the south here. You can see on here, gradually getting pushed more and more to the south, so around Isabela or Aurora. So let's look at the trends. Man, um, let's see. Hold on. Let me just grab this. Okay. Japan hasn't had one this year yet. Have they not? Really? I thought there was one storm that clipped. Yeah, one storm almost impacted Japan. Yeah, let's hope this doesn't do that. We can look at. I'm gonna pull up some of the experimental uh, half-say model runs. See, I'm curious about the 7-day forecast on the half-say model run. What does it want? See, in theory, this should work. Please work. There we go. Okay, let's look at recent events, I believe is what I need to click. There we go, 32W. Is it going to be this one, I believe? Yes, this one is going to be the 7-day forecast. Oh man, a mess right now. Let's see, what is the peak forecast for it? 900 millibars at its peak there. Slams into the Philippines with a pressure of around 903 millibars. Still a Category 5 super typhoon. The HAFS model run here, the experimental one, does have it making landfall. This would be on Monday morning, overnight Sunday into Monday morning, again as a super typhoon in Isabela. Does weaken quite a bit there, and then does curve off towards the northeast. It does make a landfall into Taiwan, potentially as a typhoon or severe tropical storm. So again, you'll need to be watching that in Taiwan. Let's look at winds now. Let's do is it ocean maps? No, air-sea interactions. There we go. Wind gust. In terms of the wind gust being forecasted with the system, anything in green is really gale force gust. Anything in that purple color is going to be, is this miles an hour? Okay, this is knots. Okay, anything in purple is going to be over 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts being possible. Let's see. And so you can see just the very strong wind gusts, even though the core makes landfall there, and it's already over land. Still, though, the core may be decently intact, but it will be moving through some of those more mountainous regions and valleys there. It's really going to make the system a lot larger by the time it enters the South China Sea. Wind field is going to be expanding quite a bit. All right. So just seeing if there's anything else interesting I can pull up here. I'll pull up the winds on 10 meters here. What is this looking like? More so the surface winds, like what are they expecting with the system? So anything in this teal color is going to be gale force sustained winds. Anything in that green color is going to be storm force sustained winds. And anything in that bright green color is going to be typhoon force winds sustained. That purplish color there on the right there is going to be super typhoon force or Category 5 winds. So it does slam into Aurora there, falls apart, and then it starts coming back there. Still, it's such a broad system that really only typhoon force winds at max, though. Only Category 1 looks like. Does then move through Taiwan, and it does look like it does become frontal, actually, as it exits Taiwan there. It does have a front attached to the system, so it would be no longer a tropical cyclone after those impacts, looks like. I did want to mention, though, that this could eventually impact portions of Alaska after the 7-day range. Some of these ensemble members do have it becoming a bomb cyclone there. If we look at the European AI models, maybe these will show something happening. Yeah, this run does have some of its remnant energy moving quickly off towards the northeast there, quickly becoming a bomb cyclone as it impacts the Alachua Islands of Alaska there. And we've seen how remnant typhoons have done pretty major damage in portions of Alaska. So let's hope this doesn't verify. This one, it does seem like if it does make a northward curve, it is going to be impacting portions of Japan, whether it be the Sakishima Islands near Taiwan or the Ryukyu Islands near the East China Sea, as it could be a non-tropical cyclone at that point. We should see, yep, there's the front that I was mentioning earlier, this line that extends off towards the east. There's its front. It's no longer a tropical cyclone then. Right. Let's see. Will you do a live? Let's see. Yeah, will you do a live landfall coverage for Fung Wong? Yes, I will. If it makes landfall on Sunday. So, Richie, how much rainfall in the Batanes Islands? Ooh, Batanes Islands, I'm not quite sure about rainfall just yet, but slight impacts are expected for them. I'd say around 50 to 100 millimeters of rain currently being forecasted. Thank you, Zenith, for commenting on the Facebook. I have not seen that. I'm sorry, I don't look at the comments there. No, Facebook's so much worse for posting. If Fung Wong landfalls in Aurora, will the eye of Fung Wong cross Benguets? Let's look at that. It all depends. So let's look at where Benguets is located at. Will this still show on here? Yes, okay. So Benguets is right over here, I believe. Make sure I'm drawing that right. Yeah, something like this. So if it makes landfall in Aurora here, which extends all the way up to... Is this it? Yeah, this is it up even up to here. So if we look at these ensemble members, it does move like this. If it goes on the southern end of Aurora, it moves like this. So looks like if it makes landfall in Aurora, mainly around let's see, central Aurora, then the eye and the core will be passing over you. So currently the ensemble mean though of the Google AI model does have it moving directly over you right now. So yes, Benguets, you could be seeing a direct passover by a major typhoon. Friday evening, the tropical cyclone may be raised, the warning signal in the Bicol region in northern Samar. Yes, we should be seeing that get upgraded over the next day or two. And unfortunately, it looks like we'll likely see at least signal 4 warnings be issued across Luzon. Let's see. Yeah, well, 1,400 kilometer an hour wind field, so 700 kilometers in every direction. So you have very broad system, as we talked about earlier. The system is massive right now. It's as big as the Philippines. If you look at it over here, this thing is massive. I've got to make a post about that actually. What? Make a brief post. Alright, and then let me just post that and I'll see if it becomes a viral tweet or not. Alright. Let's answer some more questions now. Alright, in terms of rain downpours, will NCR... What is NCR? Oh, no, National Capital Region. Okay. Let's see. Will Metro Manila be heavily affected? In terms of rainfall, it's a little bit uncertain this far out, but in terms of impacts, if I were to give it a category on this scale, slight impacts right now. If it gets shifted more to the south, then you all could be seeing much worse impacts. Yeah, Bicol region is in that slight to moderate category right now, and they could be upgraded if it trends to the south. So could the high pressure area will affect the movement of this typhoon? Again, it's becoming more set in stone what the pattern's going to be looking like for the system with this ridge. Really, let's see. Did this trend any weaker? Okay, well, the ridge has continued to strengthen now on these most recent model runs to the northeast. So wait, this is the most recent model run. And so in the near term, at least, it has shifted more to the southwest. We'll note that. It does then curve towards the north, though, after that. It is going to be slowing down by the time it enters the South China Sea due to that ridge to the north near Taiwan and eastern China. Then it will finally get dragged off towards the northeast. See if I can show something like, is there any, yeah, this right here. Maybe this will kind of help to show it there. Yep, there's the ridge there, steering it to the west. Does break through there, and then it does eventually speed off towards the northeast there. And then becomes a bomb cyclone there within 10 days for parts of Alaska. So nothing to be concerned about just yet in Alaska. Oh yeah, thank you all so much for all the people watching the stream. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're trying to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So really, if you haven't already, please subscribe, and please like this stream if you haven't already. That really helps out a lot. Helps us get it out to more people. It's broken. We call this Typhoon Fung Wong into a monster typhoon. Yeah, it probably going to be changing it to monster typhoon to become a monster. Really, though, we're mainly discussing both the systems, though. Kalmaegi and also Fung Wong. Both of these systems. Tomorrow, it should definitely start shifting more towards Fung Wong, because Kalmaegi will already be inland in portions of Vietnam. There is a typhoon, and it will be weakening. So the code threat's going to be decreasing, things like that. Still likely going to be a high-end code system, or code, so we're probably going to be focusing on this system as well. Currently, the code, this is wrong right here. This is supposed to be saying purple for Kalmaegi, and we're code orange for Fung Wong. And that Fung Wong code is going to rapidly increase as rainfall is going to be, really, rainfall impacts, like, the code, it takes into account multiple things, like rainfall within 3 days. So rainfall within 3 days, and then wind impacts within 2 days. So really, the 3-day threshold for rainfall is just outside of portions of the Philippines. So really, by tomorrow, that is going to be including a lot more of the Philippines, and then the wind impacts is going to be starting to reach portions of the Bicol region and eastern of Visayas. So we should see that code get upgraded. Ooh, dry air intrusion. Yeah, let's discuss that. Thank you for reminding me about that. The dry air is going to be impacting the system, but it's probably going to have such a solid core that it's not going to be too much of a concern for it. Now, it may try to choke this dry air here. See, the dry air is currently, let's see, if we look at this imagery, yeah, you can see some drier air now to the northwest there, some of that continental air coming off of China. And we can see that on here, impacting some of the Philippines. It is going to be drier on the Philippines, looks like, on, let's see, when would this be? This would be Saturday nights into Sunday morning. So really enjoy some of those drier conditions, especially really on tomorrow, or Saturday, because then the system's going to be whipping you all pretty severely, though. But it is going to be dragging some dry air across the Philippines, so you're not going to notice it, really. Maybe seeing some of those outer clouds, outer outflow clouds. But in terms of if it's going to suck in some dry air, you can see on this, though, it does have a dry air intrusion. Now the thing is, it does try to hook around it. The question is, though, does it penetrate the core? Does it disrupt it? It all depends on how strong it is. How solid is that core? And then if it is solid, it's not going to be a problem really at all up until after it slams into the Philippines. That's when it's going to disrupt the core, and I would suspect that it is going to be sucking in the dry air after it slams into Luzon and enters the South China Sea. The core is going to be very vulnerable. And if we look at a more zoomed in look at it. Oh, shoot, wait. Oh, and a new model run's coming out right now for it. It's currently 12 hours out, but let's look at the earlier one here. You can see some drier air impacting portions of the southern eye there. You can see a little bit of dry air, a little bit of a gap between this red and green line here in the mid-levels and upper levels. So a little bit drier there. So I would suspect that dry air could be impacting the system as it's into the South China Sea. So I don't think it's all going to be perfect for it. I think it's going to be choking. And really, the winds here for the pressure are incredibly low there. Let's see, it looks like around 90 mile an hour Category 1 with a pressure in the 950s. That's around a Category 3 or 4 pressure. So mainly Category 3 pressure with winds of a Category 1. So not doing that well, and it's going to be a much larger system, harder to consolidate. So really, I suspect it will struggle when it enters the South China Sea. Okay, so got another question here. Oh wait, JTWC only expects. Oh wait, hold on. Got more questions. Sorry. From the Bicol region, yes. Okay. Can Signal 5 be raised in Benguets? Because in history, Benguets has not been raised. I don't think Signal 5 warning will be issued for Benguets. Signal 4 though is what I'd be expecting. Let's see. Apayo. In terms of the impacts there, looks like moderate impacts. Within the southern portions, could see major impacts. Wait, how about my province, La Union, Region 1? I don't know about where regions are or whatever, but La Union, in terms of impacts there, you are expected to see moderate impacts at least. I could be adding a major impacts category, at least possible in that area, um, as confidence increases. Again, this is over 3 days out. What you should be doing right now in the Philippines is make sure you've already completed the yellow part of this checklist, as now you'll want to be starting to complete this orange part. Now remember, take a screenshot if you want, so that way you can track your progress on the system and your preparations. Oh, thank you for the congratulations. 4.82 thousand subscribers. Thank you all so much. But yeah, so if you haven't already, you want to be checking forecast daily. If you're subscribed to the channel, you can automatically check that off. You're coming back for daily updates. You want to restock essentials, things like food, water, paper towels, batteries, and medications. Get that all done. Get around a week's supply of them. You want to review your evacuation zones and routes. Be sure you know where you're going to go if this does roll through your area as a super typhoon. Know who has the sturdiest structure, who's in the least flood-prone area, or who's just not in a flood-prone area. And talk to family. Figure out where they're planning to go as well, family and friends. Remove loose debris and take that a step further now and start cleaning gutters and storm drains now. Get a head start on that. Make sure that's so that way when the rain starts, it can drain. Back up important documents as well, and wash clothes and dishes. Get that all freshened up. Is there a chance it will go more south? Yes, there's always a chance that it goes more south. On this here, this cone of uncertainty highlights on average 2/3 of the time it will stay inside of this cone. So there's a third chance that it does not, that it exits this cone, that it's somewhere in this region, all throughout here region. Really, there's a third chance that it's somewhere outside of that cone. If it goes on the southern end of guidance, that looks like it would be impacting eastern Visayas and the Bicol region. When will Fung Wong be upgraded to that possibility of catastrophic impacts? Or Code Pink or Code... Oh, sorry, I read that wrong, yeah. When will it be upgraded? Code Red will likely be issued by tomorrow, or maybe Code Pink by then. Code Purple will probably be in effect from 2 days from now. I'd say it's most likely going to be. Right. Oh yeah, I'm probably okay. Let's see. All right, let's answer some more of these questions here. Wow, thank you so much, Nicholas. Be sure to recommend me to your um to your family, friends, anyone you know. Just that's amazing. Okay, let's see there. Let's see. Hold on. I got another comments. I'm just gonna read real quick. Uh, ooh. Okay. That's a good point. All right. Yes. Okay. Probably. I'm probably gonna upgrade this. I want to ask you all in the chat again. How do the colors work here? Do you like the colors that I've picked here? I'm just curious. Are these do these work out well for you all? Do you think anything should be changed with it? Any suggestions, live chats? Just want to get your thoughts on it. Again, Nicholas, I did not want to glance on that comment again. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Okay, I really appreciate the kind words. I do my best to keep you all informed. Even on storms that don't look like they're going to be too bad. Stuff as Kalmaegi there. Unfortunately, at over 100 fatalities with that system. See, why will storms weaken before making landfall in Vietnam? Is it because of the terrain? That's going to be one cause. Another cause is going to be the sea surface temperatures are going to be decreasing as it nears Vietnam, and also wind shear is going to be increasing. This thing right here, this chart, goes from it being around moderate to low to then skyrocketing into that moderate to high category. So it's going to be increasing in terms of shear. So the thing's going to be tilting, and it doesn't like tilt. It likes to be vertically stacked. Yes, I do believe that Fung Wong could be upgraded here to the possibility of catastrophic impacts that could be happening with the system. I'm probably going to be upgrading the threat for rainfall across northern Luzon to that major category now. Or by you'll know, you'll know. Can Fung Wong weaken due to the shear line? Oh no, I don't know what you mean by that specifically. Um, in terms of again, shear is going to be increasing though before it makes landfall. So before it reaches peak in terms of wind shear, it should be quite low on here. Yeah, in terms of wind shear, it should be down to 10 knots or less. You have to also take into account the forward motion of the system. By the time it's making landfall, though, shear is going to be pretty low. So at least on the half same model run. So really, this could be making landfall as a super typhoon. The Google AI members may be going a little bit low on its landfall intensity. Yeah, Leon, what? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Okay. Um, can Fung Wong be the same strength as Ompong? Well, let me just take a look at what Ompong's intensity was, its peak. I haven't analyzed, I haven't done reanalysis on that system. Let's see. So winds 180 miles an hour. That may be conservative. So 155 knots. Okay, so the consensus here in terms of the probabilities of it reaching a certain... Okay, I can't do that. All right. I'm looking at my code right now. Just seeing the probabilities of it reaching a certain intensity. The consensus has it peaking out, or the average of peaks do have it peaking out as a storm stronger than main cuts. 190 miles. Is that 190? No, sorry. 180 to 85 to. Okay, wait, 100. Sorry, trying to get this right. 180 to 185 miles an hour mainly. So the average is stronger than main cuts. So it looks like it could become a stronger storm than Typhoon main cuts or Ompong. Um, Now at landfall, that's going to be more debatable. Does it make landfall at that intensity or not? A little bit uncertain. Yes, again, this is going to be a very large storm. That wind field is going to be growing pretty drastically. You can see it's quite small here, the initial stages over the next 48 hours, and then it just grows and grows and grows. Undergoes an eye wall replacement cycle, gets incredibly large by the time it slams into Luzon there. So really, you're not going to need to just get the eye wall to see typhoon force winds. Really, even the Babuan Islands could be seeing typhoon force winds with this system if it makes landfall in Cagayan. Then we'll be discussing portions of Taiwan later. That's going to be a little bit interesting to track. Just double check that on here. What is it looking like? Like what does the core look like after it makes that landfall there? Okay, so it looks like the HAFS model does want it to develop a pinhole eye before then undergoing an eyewall replacement cycle there. Much larger eye slams into the Philippines at around Isabela or Aurora provinces in the Philippines. Much larger core here, and you can see a huge gap on that eastern side. Some dry air potentially penetrating the system, and just really a sheared mess by the time it slams into Taiwan there. We can probably pull up moisture. So let's see, does this work? Is this going to look good or not? Yeah, okay, I'd say that this is fine here. Can't really see the land colors that well, unfortunately. And it doesn't look like dry air really penetrates the system on this model run here, so nothing too bad there. It's pretty moist, looks like, to me. Can Fung Wong be the same strength as Haiyan? Okay, so 180 mile an hour or 180 knot peak. That's around at 205 miles an hour, so it could become the same strength as Haiyan was. That's the highest end solution, though, on the Google AI members. So yeah, that's possible. We'll see. We'll have a much better idea, like I've said, over the next 24 to 48 hours as to how strong could this system actually get. That's a great point there. Let's see, from Brad Nelson there, from Leyte. I like the pre-planning charts, wondering about post-storm checklist. Communications with loved ones, minimizing fears, using a Starlink, which is great when there's no cell service. That's actually perfect. You know what? That's what I'm going to be working on next, okay? I'm going to be, before I do that, I'm going to be making a chart or a little bit of a graphic that explains these impacts right here on what they kind of mean, the kind of impacts that you could be seeing, because what does it mean when I say slight impacts, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll discuss that. I'll be making a post-storm checklist. Yeah, I'm gonna really need to be doing that. Thank you so much for the suggestion. Why do you think November produces all the most destructive typhoons in the Philippines? I'm not sure. I haven't done a lot of in-depth dives into that. Maybe it's just the presence of a lot of upper-level anticyclones in the region. I'm not sure. If I pull up, let's see, I'll pull up this and another. Oops, did not mean to pin that. Maybe it's just the presence of more upper-level anticyclones. I'm not quite sure. Uh, Maybe it's because the jet's moving more to the north. I'm not. Again, I'm not entirely sure um, as to why that is. Looks like Fung Wong could be another Usagi, yes. The problem, though, is it looks like it will have time to undergo an eyewall replacement cycle, so even if it forms a pinhole core, it will be fine to grow. Yes, again, if you are in Luzon, you want to be preparing for this storm. Alright. Will there be heavy rain in Cebu? Cebu or Cebu? Cebu, I believe. In terms of impacts for you there, whoops, okay. In terms of impacts, you are expected to see marginal impacts. Nothing too bad, really, for you there. Just keep checking back for updates. I'll continue to highlight areas in the Philippines that should be watching the storm. Let's hope this area starts shrinking and shrinking over the coming days as confidence increases. Right. Again, guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're getting very close to 5,000. We're only now 178 subscribers away, I think. Wow, okay. And how many days until the end of the year? Looks like it's around 57 days. And that would be around, okay, so 178 divided by 57. Wow, only gonna need 3 subscribers a day. Okay, how many days until Thanksgiving week was it? I did, yeah, Thanksgiving. Man, 22 days. They need 8 subscribers. Yeah, okay, 8 subscribers a day have been doing more than well. So before Thanksgiving, that's going to be interesting. Will Bang Gets be upgraded to major impacts? I'd say so due to rainfall potential. Winds looks like Typhoon Force, but rainfall that's going to be worse there. Will you do a live stream in New York City 2026? Huh? Don't know. Oh wait, sorry, no. For the New Year. No, probably not. I'm gonna be probably traveling across the country during that time, chasing storms and snow and whatever. I will be bringing my laptop with me. I'm gonna well no actually I'm gonna be bringing my desktop probably to animate, and I'll do more live streams if there's a system impacting somewhere. Kilometer per hour winds of the Typhoon Fung Wong before and after it makes landfall in the Philippines. So before it makes landfall in the Philippines, that looks like okay. So in terms of kilometer an hour, this is going to be sustained winds. Let me just do this right there. Okay, kilometer an hour sustained winds looks like 215 kilometer an hour winds before it makes landfall in the Philippines. Afterwards, it looks like it's down to sustained winds of 140. So 215 to 140 kilometer an hour winds sustained. Again, gusts will be much higher than that. Some areas have up to 300 kilometer an hour winds when gust before it makes landfall. Yes, Western Jamaica is completely destroyed. I can't believe that's only been just over a week ago. It's felt like it's been months, but it's been pretty recent. Brian Nelson says, after the last typhoon, I tried to fire up my small generator because power was out for a couple days. Old gas was preventing it from starting out. Frustrating. Yes, okay, gotta add more tips there. Would you think Josh Morganman is going to chase this? I'm not sure. He needs a break, I think. I don't know if he's running out of time if he wants to go out here or not. He hasn't made a single post about it, so I'm not sure. And of course, can I go on? Can Fung Wong be stronger than Regassa? Yes. Again, this is more bullish. These Google AI Ensemble members are much more bullish than Regassa ever was. Regassa's highest Ensemble mean was 130 knots. This is 100 and, let me go, was it before? Yeah, there. 145 knots. So this is even stronger than Regassa in terms of the forecasted potential from the Google AI Ensemble members. The question is, are they overblowing how much it's going to be, or how quickly it intensifies and organizes? I think it might be. I think it might be going a little bit too bullish in the short term. Now that doesn't mean it's not going to reach super typhoon status. I'm just thinking it's going a little bit bullish. And so the question though is are these X's going to be following this trend accurately, especially in this portion right here, this extreme intensification? Goes from around 970 millibars all the way down to 910 millibars in a day. That's a 60 millibar pressure drop. That is extreme intensification. So the thing is, will it do it or will it not? Yes, Philippines have already had typhoons this year. Is there a chance it will change directions? Yes. Of course, it could go more on the northern end, more on the southern end, but it looks more likely than not that it will strike the Philippines. All good, Andrew. I understand the power outages. Well, I'm probably going to be ending the stream shortly. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really helps get out the word to more people. Thank you all for those who have liked the stream. And now I briefly want to mention, if you want to stay up to date and look at more, or get access to these cones quicker than these live streams, you can follow me on X there at Hurricane_Chase. I post there the most frequently. You can follow me on YouTube at Hurricane Chaser Chase. If you're probably watching it there. If you're not watching it on X, you can follow me on Instagram at Hurricane Chaser Chase. Really, if you have Instagram, please follow me there. I post stuff about chasing and also the cones. Though more recently, I've been posting a lot of cone graphics there. And you can follow if you use Facebook or Blue Sky. You can follow me at Cyclone Tracking. And if you have Discord and you like tracking weather, you can join the Discord server, discord.gg/chaseastorm. We'll be doing another live stream tomorrow. Who am I going to be seeing tomorrow? Who's going to be staying up to date, looking at more information as to where the system's going, what it's looking like? Who will I be seeing tomorrow? Tomorrow's live stream will be discussing both Kalmaegi, but more in depth on Fung Wong, I believe. Who is Roblox? I'll be seeing you. Okay, Richie, I'll be seeing you. Alright. Well, guys, thank you again so much for all the support. 1.9 thousand views this stream. Thank you all so much. Well, yes, Zenith, I'll see you. Okay. Perfect. Let me just close out of this briefly. Okay, that should have worked. Okay, well, thank you all so much for watching. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I was going to ask one last thing for you all. Question about this region of the Philippines. Let me pull up regions of the Philippines. For those in the Philippines, what do you call this green region here? Do you call it the CAR for short? I know you call the National Capital Region NCR for short. Do you call this the CAR for short? And of course, you guys you're more than welcome for the analysis. So which one? Can you type in the chat? Is it CAR or do you actually say the full thing? Alright, yes, CAR, okay. Alright, looks like it's interchangeably, looks like more likely than not the CAR is what you call it. Okay, okay, good. I don't have to try to pronounce that word anymore, so nobody will see me fail trying to pronounce Cordillera. Did I get that right? That would be insane. Cordillera, okay. Anyway, so people won't have to be seeing me butcher that pronunciation. Yes, CAR makes more sense, so I'll be saying that from now on. Well, guys, thank you all so much for watching this live update. Huge thanks to those for some of my friends watching from my college. I will see you all in the next update. Stay safe.